Alright, let's get into it. I'm going to take a break from the mission/campaign mode for a little bit, and I'm going to move into more skirmish battles. So this first one here is going to be a team battle. So it's going to be 2 versus 2. It's going to be myself and an easy AI versus a normal AI, which I've matched against myself, and another easy AI to match up with the other squad. And I do this to somewhat balance the game. Now, I'm not scrolling around like crazy. I'm just looking to see where both teams have started. And it appears here that both teams have started in the same place. So you can't really see it. I'll zero in on it eventually. Yeah, zoomed out. And yeah, I can see them. There they are. So yeah, it's their 2 commanders there. They were so close together I couldn't really see. But it looks like the easy AI, or the opponent AI, has already built a metal extractor and a rover assembly. It looks like they've went heavy with the engineer commanders. I've chosen the strike commander because it's different than the commanders that I've used in the previous 2 videos. And the strike commander is very comparable to the core commander in total annihilation. And my ally is using the recon commander. Now, I didn't mention this in the previous games, but you can upgrade your commander in game. I didn't do it. I think you can only do it in skirmish or multiplayer. In the missions, you can't upgrade your commander in game. Your commander is upgraded by the mission, and I'll go more into that. And there's the dart that is being used by my opponent's rover assembly. It's just a light scout. Not too dangerous. It's dangerous in situations where there are many of them. One laser tower like that Lotus there. And there you can see my ally is upgrading their commander right now. So when you upgrade your commander, you can do, first off, you can build faster. In some cases, it depends on the commander. There are options for personal shields, for drones, but we're going to get into that later. I highlight the rover assembly here. Good starting factory for anyone in this game. And you can see my opponent is starting to upgrade their commander too. You'll notice this is a recurring theme in this game. Usually when myself or my ally makes a move, the CPU players will adapt to that. So do not shy away from playing AI opponents in this game. And they're building Rippers already. The Ripper is a Riot rover. It's kind of weird that they would build that type of rover in the beginning. Usually in these types of games, you want to build the lighter units first, and then as your economy goes up, you want to build heavier units. And as you can see here, it appears that my opponent, both commanders are being upgraded, and they're also employing the strategy of staying close together. As you can see with my ally, we're a little bit further apart than they are. I like to start further apart from my allies because when the enemy is coming to attack, and you'll be able to see that in the later part of this video, so I'll get into it then. But here's the mace, and I'm going to highlight the mace for a long time on this one, because the mace was not only an MVP for my forces, but also for the enemy forces too. And you will see that later in the game. This is just the early game here. So, one factory apiece for both of my opponents, and one factory apiece for both myself and my ally, as you can see here. So not a whole lot going on. Within the first 10 minutes of the game, there's not going to be a whole lot going on. You're not going to have too many raids within the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes of the game should be you getting your factories in order and improving your economy. As you can see, my opponent is starting to expand their economy just a tad bit more. Not a whole lot more, but a tad more. And they're starting to build more mobile units that they're starting to send towards my ally, it seems. But it does seem like they're starting to split up in different ways. So I will keep an eye on that throughout this game. But yeah, like I said, not too much going on here. There's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of meat on the bone yet, as far as units and as far as certain structures that could really help you in the game. See, he's attacking with the boluses, and this is the normal AI. And that is a good strategy in the beginning of the game because it's a disruptor. So although it's not a very powerful unit as far as damage is concerned, its disruptor slows down its opponent. So you see here, he's attacking, and he's attacking my light laser tower. So if you saw that purple bar means that it's slowing. And since my tower doesn't move, its slowing doesn't affect its movement because there is no movement. So when boluses shoot a laser tower or a defense structure, it will slow down its rate of fire. So a very useful unit. And it looks like I tried. No, I don't think I did. Oh, I'm trying to now. I'm trying to lead an attack here. But unfortunately, as you can see, Red's commander's there. So from now on, I'm going to refer to my opponents by their color instead of the level of the AI, because you can see that. By the way, the difficulty levels. The easy difficulty is the middle difficulty level in this game. It is not easy. Like, if you're not familiar with the economy in this game, you are not going to beat an easy AI. I can guarantee you that. You see what I'm doing right now? I'm shooting with slowing disruptor weapons, and it still can't kill that commander. So the difference between this and the old Total Annihilation games is your commander is a lot easier to destroy. So you need to choose your commander wisely, very wisely. Because you do not want your commander to get destroyed. It looks like my allies are leading an attack, but it's not going to be very successful with the type of units that they're using, because these units are light. So I'm not even going to focus on that. Those units are light. They're going to get carved up by those laser towers. Now here I'm building the Cerberus. And not too much coming from my ally yet. So you can tell it's easy. It's easy difficulty. Cerberus is almost done. So I have an advanced radar tower now. So as you can see, there's a green line. I'm going to like kind of try and follow it here. But yeah, that green line there is the range of my radar tower. So I can't see everything, The only reason why you can see the red and yellow icons on my map is because it will show it to you because those units have been revealed. So those units have been revealed past the fog of war. Now, here, my Cerberus is done. I'm going to highlight it, and you can read the description down there. It's a defense structure, but look up at the top there. I'm going to try and point at it the best I can. Yeah, right there. That means that it doesn't work. That means that when the enemies come within range, it's not going to shoot. Because as you can see, there's an energy grid here, and my constructor is starting to build an energy pylon to try to connect, because basically I do not have enough energy to power that weapon right there. When you click on your energy, it will show how much energy is in that grid. So I only have 16, so that is not enough to power the Cerberus, which needs to be connected to a 50 energy grid. That is why you should always have more energy than metal at all times in this game. Even in the old Total Annihilation games, you did not want to be without energy, because energy powers your defense structures. Highlighting the Scorcher. So from here on out, what I'm going to do here in the middle game is there are more units being introduced. So if you look down in that little bottom area, I'm going to start highlighting more, so you can read those descriptions. Aqua, my ally, is using this scythe here. A very useful unit if used correctly. I'm going to stress this. In this game, all units are useful. They're all useful. You just have to use them correctly. That's what I'm going to say. You just need to learn what works for you. And hovercraft works for me, so that's what I'm going to do in some of these games. Now, in other games that I record here, I want to start branching out and using other units that I don't really necessarily use all the time. So I'm leading an attack here. I've got my blockade runners leading the flank here. I love these units because they're fast, they're durable, and in numbers, they kill. Oh, they kill. See? Look at all that damage they're shelling out, even with that laser tower shooting them. Because those laser towers can only shoot one unit at a time. They don't do spread damage like the Stingers do. So the blockade runners and the maces, those are riot units. So those units are going to do well in situations like this. This is when you want to do a quick attack. So you're getting into the mid-game here. About the mid-game, you want to lead an attack in the mid-game with units like these. Because with riot units are going to carve those lotuses and those little missile launchers that you see up there at the kind of topish of the screen there. That's going to carve them up. The maces are going to carve them up. The only reason why they've beaten my units here is because their commander is shooting with them. So the engineer commander does have a very powerful Gauss type weapon. Now, as you can see with these energy grid here, I've got these two pylons here connecting them. You can see that web. The Cerberus is ready. So it will fire whenever any unit that is an enemy comes into range. And it is a very useful unit, but it wasn't useful for me here because by the time it had been operational, the enemy didn't really offer anything as far as rating to attack for me to have to use it. See, they're trying to advance on me, but they're not advancing on me because Aqua my allies are using the cloak bots, which they can't see coming towards them. Certain cloak bots they can't see coming towards them. So they're being intercepted. Now here, I just built a hovercraft plate. So it's a construction plate. It's an extension of a factory that you already have. So it basically doubles your production. So it has to have that other factory right next to it. So say the enemy comes down and destroys that hovercraft platform, that construction plate will no longer be operational. So it has to be protected. Aqua's starting to build a tank foundry. Nice. Tank foundries are great for the mid game. The only problem is they're building it a little bit late in the game. I don't even have a second factory yet, but that construction plate is as good as a second factory. So do not forget that. If you find units that you like and you find a factory that you do like, please use the construction plates. They work. See what the enemy is doing here? That's a no-no. In a team game, that is a no-no. Do not do that. Do not build a whole nother hovercraft platform. That is a waste of time. As you can see, my allies are leading another attack, but they're not as effective because they don't have the heavier units that my opponent has. Yellow has adapted to me. So yellow is building the same type of heavier units that I'm building. So they're canceling out. They're canceling out Aqua's attacks. Or Carolina Blue. It looks more Aqua to me, so I'm just going to call it Aqua. But as you can see, when we go back down, so every squad should have about 2 factories by now. If you don't have 2 factories at this point in the game, oh, here we go. Looks like they're leading a little attack. And see, I'm intercepting them with the boluses, but those boluses are getting carved up by the hovercraft. Now, here we go. My lances are already shooting. I've introduced the lance before, but I'm going to highlight it again. Because the lance is I don't see the lances too much in multiplayer games. I'm going to use the lances more judiciously in this match to show how to better use them, because I did not use them well in the previous videos that I've done. And here are the ogres. That's a favorite from me, but my allies are using them. Well armored, but still needs to be protected. So you want to bring in a first wave of attackers and then bring those in. So you want to use the ogres and wave attack. But you can see I pulled my lances back. So I pulled my lances back to the base. And there's the Strider hub. I'm sorry guys, I haven't deviated. Old habits die hard in this game. So I do use some of the same factories. I promise you guys, I will branch out in the next skirmish games. I'm going to play more skirmish games because it looks like the campaign videos aren't doing too well. Also, what I'm going to start to do is watch these videos back, and I'm going to timestamp important things in this game so you can be able to skip ahead, so you won't have to watch a whole 40-minute video or a 30-minute video, because I want to do these videos to educate newbies on 0K, because I'm no newbie. I've been playing this game for years, but it's been taking me, it takes time. You have to have time. to develop in this game. So the more you can learn from other people in the community, I think the better. So it looks like I'm going to try and lead another attack because we're getting towards 20 minutes in this game. You can see up at the top of the HUD where we are in time in the game, and you can see the percentage here too. So we're getting not too late in the game, but we're getting late in the game that if you're not on your P's and Q's, you're going to get absolutely overwhelmed by your opponent. And the only reason why my allies haven't been overwhelmed by my opponent is because my units have been heavies and I've been attacking with them and kind of slowing them down a bit. So they're not in any position to do a heavy raid. And also, as you can see, if you look over to the bottom right where the radar and the map screen is, you can see I've already expanded over to the other side of the map. Definitely do this during a team game, do this during a solo game. You have to expand your territory. You need to give your opponents more than one area to attack. So I'm moving up to intercept my enemies attacking because they're doing their best. They're doing their best to try and get the beat on me and attack. But here we go. I'm sending my hovercraft. So get ready to ride. And as I said before, definitely try to have your faster units stop at some point so that your slower units can catch up. Now look at the mace. Look at the damage that the mace is doing. Look at how many of those daggers got destroyed before they destroyed the mace. They've got their laser tower here. So my heavies haven't quite made it yet. In come the disruptors. Now the disruptors are in heavy numbers. Look how quick that was. And in the case of the boluses shooting your metal extractors or your solar collectors, it slows down production. So every unit here, every unit's effect has an effect on anything, even if it's a mobile unit, a non-mobile unit, a tower, it doesn't matter. So now I'm going to lead a real serious attack here because we're getting deep in the game. The lances are here, the scalpels are here, the maces are here. So now that we're getting deeper into it, now here's a strategy I like to use. Bring in your heavies that are mobile so that the lances will have time to reload and do the heavy damage that they're supposed to do to stop your opponent. So now at this point in the game, you should be advancing deep enough to destroy enemy factories if you haven't already. Now here we go again. Once all of the supporting units are gone, you have to pull those lances back. If you don't pull those lances back, they're going to be easy targets for the counter-attacking defense force of your opponent. So now we're getting deep in the game. So I'm looking to end this. So the Scorpion is going to make its way down. I've introduced the Scorpion to you guys, so I'm not going to lay in the weeds about that. And as you can see, the opponents are attacking again. Yellow and red are coming, but it looks like they're pulling back. And here, yellow has an Amphbot factory, so I'm going to quickly highlight those units. In my next game, I most likely will include some type of Amphbot, the amphibious bots plant, because that one is a very interesting factory. One of the more interesting factories in the game as far as the abilities of the units that are created from it. There are my lances. They're shooting again. And there's the welder. The welder is... I can't see if that's from my opponent or from... That is from my ally. So the welders are armed. So if you want to have a group of construction units, the welder is the one to build, because it can defend itself, but not too well. So I'm going to bring back the second wave. And I'm bringing back the second wave with those lances. And with the Scorpion bringing up the rear, look at the damage that the lances do. Heavies and my scalpels, my multiple units biding time for those lances to shoot that blue laser of death. They've got their commander out here all willy-nilly. He's done. So once your commander gets killed, your construction is going to slow. So it looks like from here I'm moving in for the kill, because you have to at this point in the game. So I'm going to introduce a couple of more interesting units before I slide up out of here, because it looks like this is almost done, even from that attack that I just launched. So we'll get to it. They still have their factories operational. I'm going to end that. So once all of your opponent's factories are destroyed and all of your opponent's construction units are destroyed, that will end the game. So not the commander. So I've destroyed both commanders already of my opponents. So they're effectively done. I'm just going to play with my food for a couple of minutes here. So their factories are gone. And it looks like the Cerberus is done. Or no, not the Cerberus. The Big Bertha. So let me get up there to that one, because yeah, that shit's flying. It's firing already. My bad for the cursing. And this is a game ender. That is a game ender right there. So it doesn't win battles alone, as the description says, but it is long range. So, and also the AI works for it. So the AI will choose what to shoot if you do not. So enough about the Big Bertha. You'll see that again. Here's the Athena. This one is a important unit, but not used much by a lot of people. This one resurrects units. So you see all those flashing blue, that's metal. So when you leave that type of wreckage on the battlefield, there's a lot of wreckage on the battlefield. Use the Athenas. Use the Athenas to add to your force. Use the Athenas to add to your economy, because the economy leaves behind wreckage too. As you can see, there's wreckage everywhere. And you can resurrect your opponent's wreckage as well. So this one's almost over. So I'm going to bring you guys more videos as we go along, but this one is the first team battle. So once again, I'm Zerus Prime in the game. I'll shoot you guys the link to find out how to get 0K and how to be able to play it, because it's a good game and it's deep. and it's a great multiplayer game. It's a good game to just play. So the game's over. The medals are up there. I'm going to do another video soon explaining these medals and other things in the game. So until then, until the next video, I'm out.